this. All right, I'm going to share my screen. So let's go first to the slide deck and just give me a thumbs up once you see this. Were you seeing this okay? I can see it. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So we are here today. This is called the Evergreen Sales Series. And I say is not because I call myself the Evergreen Sales Queen. I would love all of you to become Evergreen Sales Queens in your own right next year. That's what I'm here for. I want to show you what I found out to make business a little bit more fun, a bit more predictable, because I was struggling in my business to actually get things up and running and then create that momentum. And so often we start things and then we don't know why it's not working. We may even wake up in the morning and we're like, okay, what do we do today? What are we posting? How are we going to get new clients? So those are all the things that I talk about. How do you make this getting getting clients and selling a more of a predictable kind of system that you can work on over and over again? And that's what I want to help you with today. So it's the Evergreen Success Blueprint for looking forward for 2025. And I'm also going to share with you a little ecosystem that I've built that I found out were actually the red thread through all the businesses. Because I've been in doing this business for what, over 12 years now. I think my daughter's now 13. I started when she was a baby because I didn't want to go back into a corporate job and travel. As I just mentioned, Lucia, and I live near Heathrow Airport, UK. I always needed an airport on a Monday morning, come back on a Friday. As I was a management consultant, I was troubleshooting, and I was actually coaching other sort of senior leaders in this space. And I always love to put together systems and processes that can be used over and over again and plug holes where I can see gaps. So that's I think what I do best. Anyway, a little bit more about the session itself, or what we're going to be doing. So we're going to actually identify what's holding you back. So what are things that you tried this year didn't quite work, and then what are the things that we could be doing, and then I'll show you those 6 pillars to build a consistent system for 2025, and then also we'll have to chunk these elements down so that you can put that vision into actionable steps. So my mission here, there's a reason why I'm here, and I still have this spelling mistake. My goal with a H, I need to write down, I need to change that. Don't know how that H went in there. Well, my I'm not a native English speaker. You probably can tell I'm actually originally from Austria. And so sometimes, things still come out a bit wrong. Bear with me. So actually, my goal is to help female coaches, consultants, spiritual entrepreneurs, work a lot with them, um, actually bridging the gap and helping them to get their transformations out there so they can really transform other people. Because I'm so passionate about helping other people transform. And I think I am sort of the catalyst for that. I have several different platforms where I host other coaches and consultants, get them visible, and we're collaborating in this space so that we no longer have to battle with this ongoing marketing, advertising. We do need evergreen sales strategies and to help actually getting clients more consistently with less effort. So if you resonate with this mission and you think, well, actually, yeah, I'd love to get more clients more consistently, just put a one in the chat and let me know who you are here and you are with me as well. And if you do have questions along the way, feel free to pop them in. Any observations, any thoughts, I'm very happy you pop them in so that we can have a bit of a more of a conversational style presentation. Okay. So this is me a couple of years ago. Now I lost a bit of weight since then, which I'm very happy about. This year was a bit of a transformation for me, and then my kids are actually taller than me now. But it's just a lovely memory. It just just shows I am a family person. I'm very sort of down to earth, and I just love just working alongside family, and that gives me the freedom, and that's the reason why I'm here and why I decided to get into the corporate world. Besides that, I love traveling. I always have my next holiday planned. The next one's going to be on the 5th of January. I'm going home to Austria. I want to do a little bit of skiing. Hopefully, we'll have snow. And also, I'm such a beach person. Turkey is happening next year, all inclusive. So you got to enjoy life, right? You got to have fun in life and not just be all serious. That's another side of my fingers. Angelica, yeah, hi. Let's celebrate. Good to see you here. But from a career perspective, yeah, I was quite serious. I was traveling a lot, and I was a troubleshooter, and sort of with a crying shoulder to leadership, and looking at what challenges they're coming up with, and I was tasked to actually look at efficiency in businesses. So as you can see, I was traveling a lot, and larger organizations employed me, and also went in as my self-employed business, and did talks. One of which was actually to showcase my launch of the book, which was called Rise in Pursuit of Empowerment. Well, since then, that was 2018, I've actually written two further books. So there's three now, which were all inspired by female entrepreneurs and leadership. The pandemic, obviously, that was a big one. Everyone had some sort of awakening. And I just felt I needed to go out there and share the mission, because I feel sometimes work can be such a toxic place. I mean, let me know, have you worked in a corporate before, and then you're out of there and you think, you know, thank God I'm not in that toxic place anymore, and I can now sort of just do what I love to do. And if you resonate, let me know, give me a one or a yes, something like that in the chat. I feel we probably all sort of experienced some sort of hardship when we were working for someone else. Yeah, celebrate every win. Absolutely. Yeah, you've been there before. Yeah. So welcome anyone who's just joined. Today we're just going to do a quick intro, and then we'll dive right into the workshop. So yeah, so that was me. That was me in a nutshell. Anyway, now I'm here, and I'm running this program. It's called the Evergreen Sales Formula, and it's really about helping female entrepreneurs get over those hurdles. And I think quite often I realize it's not just all about strategy. I think it's about mindset as well. And I'm not a mindset coach, but probably going to ask some questions around our mindset as to, like, yeah, what is really holding me back? What are my biggest challenges? Let's think about it from a strategic perspective, but then also from a mindset perspective. So I'm just going to pop in the workbook for those who just joined a little bit later, because you might not have the link ready. Because I'm going to stop sharing this screen, going over to the workbook, and then ask some questions. If you'd like to type it out, you can do that. If you prefer not to share, and it could be personal, that's fine as well. Um, it's going to lead you through three series of questions to really think about what worked, what hasn't worked in 2024, and I'll show you the ecosystem that I've built that might help you in 2025 get customers and clients more consistently, because it's a six-step sort of pillar system, and I want to show you what that looks like. So you'll hopefully have an aha moment during the session, and you think, okay, this is how what are the gaps in terms of my business, and then we'll talk about how you can go and implement that for 2020. Is that good? Give me a one in the chat if you're still with me. Feel free to type your question, your answers, or maybe keywords, and we can discuss things. If you have a question, we'll answer those in the very end. You can unmute as well later on as well, in terms of what are your challenges, and we can go through some of the examples and tailor it. Okay, cool. Uh, so I'm going to stop this and grab the sheet. Are you guys okay? Have you been able to open the worksheet okay? Hopefully it's sort of open for sharing. And yep, okay, cool. I just realized it has such my brand colors on it, so it's probably not the best sheet to actually print on a white paper, because it'll be like, well, the ink, you'll be using up the ink. So yeah, maybe have it on screen, and write it down on a piece of paper. Yeah, there we go. There it is. So we can see this, okay? Yeah, plan your winning strategy with 2025. Good. I assume so. Yep. So that's your workbook. Um, yeah, let's just whiz through this. I'd love you just to pop down one word for 25. What are you thinking about? Like how what's your feeling? What's your feeling when it comes to 2025? Excited? Yeah. Yeah, it's a blank piece of paper, isn't it? It's like we can really feel fresh and new, and we can maybe just close off any bad experience from this year as well, and start from fresh, optimistic. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thrilled yet terrified. Hmm. Yeah, it's unknown, isn't it? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I guess we're just going to put the best foot forward. That's all we can do, and be optimistic, be excited, and really believe that we can make a big impact. That we can really achieve sometimes that what we think is impossible. I've just seen this lately. I don't know if you guys are in the UK. Um, there is a show called Strictly Come Dancing, which is the ballroom dancing, and we just had a blind man winning the competition, and I find it's just so incredible that, what he's actually done and how he really believed that he can do things like that. It's just unbelievable. And I think on the MasterChef in the US, there was a blind lady as well that won the MasterChef, and she wasn't treated anything else. So, just think about it. We can do more than what we think we're capable of. Uh, Angelica, you're among happy to step into the influential era and breathe to be open to receive. Yeah, I think we do need to be open to receive, and we need to surround ourselves with the right people, with the high vibe people, committed yet balanced in all aspects, running my business and life. I love that balance as well, because so quickly we could be sucked into taking this too serious and just work, 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 and not really enjoying the journey. Because sometimes we've got to really, yeah, step back and think, actually, how do I want to run this business? Is this still aligned? Because I was in eras where I was just rushing around. I had so many projects, so many different clients, and I fell into that trap where I took myself too serious, and then I would say, a near burnout. Maybe I was burned out, but I didn't really recognize it at that time, right? So balance is, and not just balance, I think it's also setting boundaries, perhaps, because balance is always hard to really get true balance, isn't it? So I think we've been through this, the agenda that's just there for you again. So we're going to go into part one. What is actually holding you back? And I've given you a couple of choices because sometimes it's like, yeah, what is it? There could be a lot of different things. Is it, what's the biggest struggle really? Is it inconsistent sales? Are you feeling somewhat overwhelmed? Balancing life and work? Maybe that is a challenge, or maybe it's something else that comes up for you. What is that for you? Feel free to pop it in a chat. Or is it a mixture of all of it? Because that could be true, right? It could be true for and one may actually lead into another because feeling overwhelmed. That means you don't know exactly how you're going to promote and get the next client, and that means you're having consistent sales. And because you're feeling overwhelmed, you're running around so much, you all of a sudden feel like you're not balancing life and work, and you're working too much, or maybe you're working too little and you're getting distracted, getting sucked into all the different social media channels, and you're scrolling hours on end and you don't know what you should be doing instead, right? So that could be the case as well. And then I guess whatever struggle that is like, what would change for you if the struggle no longer existed? How would life feel, right? If you had something that's constantly running, every day when you get up in the morning, what you're going to do in your business that drives the results that you want, right? Just imagine that for a moment. How would you feel? Okay, so once you've got that, um, yeah, let me know. I'd be curious to understand what's the biggest struggle and then how would you feel? Because that when with that in mind, we can think, okay, what's the thing that we can put in place to actually change that for you, right? Okay. Does anyone want to share or unmute? Everyone brave? Lucien, do you want to share and unmute?
Okay, well, I'm actually at the place where I'm transitioning from being that one-on-one consultant in terms of serving one business at a time, and now I'd like to broaden into a bigger market. But I
Hmm.
keep that one concern. I'm committed, yet I want to be balanced. So I don't want to come out doing too much in the new year. I don't want to come out like leading with all the marketing strategies and tactics and commit to too much that isn't necessary when I know I need to be consistently marketing. So this is why I'm happy to be here to learn about maybe a new strategy because it's important to me that by the end of the year I'm satisfied with my client relationships and I'm not frazzled. So
Love that. Thank you for sharing this and being open. Can I ask you a follow-up question regards to your vision? So, are you doing one-to-one clients right now, and are you looking to increase your income, leveraging your time, perhaps, and then going into more sort of group scenario? Is that your vision?
um yes, it is. However, I have a tiered approach.
Hmm.
So I'm doing one-to-one now at a higher high value, high intensity, meaning they're short-term projects, but they require a lot of my time, focus, and
Mm,
attention. But it's
yeah.
well worth it, and I thoroughly enjoy it. What I'd like to do is move into um, a three-tiered approach where now 20% of my time is serving more people on a group level so that I can build more of a pipeline, more relationships, and understand more of my market's needs. So
Mhm.
20% is on that group level, and I still would like to allocate time for those deeper relationships one-on-one. And the that's the second tier. Third is I'll be bringing on an agency. So other consultants with different skill sets that can serve the community.
And what is it that you do?
I'm a business plan writer,
Hmm.
and I've done coaching surrounding that. So coaching people who needed additional skills, kind of guiding them as to how they can acquire that in their business.
Hmm.
That's primarily who I am, but now I have this bigger vision to serve more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you talk about the group um, program, obviously there's different ways to put together. Would it be a membership or would it be like a cohort that you might run for 3 months, 6 months? What's your vision around that?
Well, at this point, I'm fine enough doing availing myself on a weekly basis to a group of people just to help them in the room, even without charging. And at the end of that, perhaps sell a course, a digital course.
Okay.
Like, I just want that group feeling and that ability to help more people in volume and build relationships, right? And then whatever comes of that, whether they buy the course or not, that's fine. Whether they continue building with me, that's fine. But I would like that experience of helping more people.
I love that. So you may want to run weekly sessions like what I do right now. So I love working with people like this as well. And I start to understand a bit more where the audience is coming from, what the challenges are. There we go. See, there's an example. And then,
I think I'll consider it as the thing
yeah,
of as long as I can stay committed yet balanced, that's my goal.
yeah. And then, so I'm just giving you example. Obviously, I have like tons of ideas. This is where my consultant hat is like my consultant's coming in. I'm like, oh yeah, I've got this idea and that one for you. Obviously, you gotta ask yourself these questions. What's aligned? What does that mean for you, for me, if I give up some of my one-to-one clients? How much income would I like to continue to make, or how do I want to scale? Like a lot of people might say, yeah, I would like to do a group program because right now I only have capacity for 10 clients because that means 10, 20 hours a week, and I don't want to spend that much time, and I'd like to combine those 10 clients into a group so I only spend 2 hours. But obviously, then maybe you're going to charge differently as well because now it's not such high end anymore. And what is that? So, those are the questions you might want to ask yourself. And then there's the question of a membership because the membership will actually give you a monthly recurring income, because what I found with the coaching and the consulting is quite often we need to go and get clients every time from scratch, and especially when we're running cohorts, 90-day programs, then the program ends and what's next? You can always obviously offer a recurring membership thereafter, or they just come in as a recurring altogether, and then they stay whatever. Either you let them cancel on a monthly basis, or you do quarterly or 6 or 12 months kind of contracts. These are all things to consider, and what would that look like in terms of my time, my energy, the amount of fun I have with this, because some people don't like to have a community and administer community because you might need to be there every day to stipulate, motivate people. Maybe they're asking questions if, say, if it's in some sort of group where they can ask questions between the calls. These are all perhaps considerations you might want to map out after this session. So hopefully I've just given you some ideas to kind of think about.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I will consider.
Yeah. And then you're right with the marketing, you can spread yourself so thin. I would actually advise, I guess, is market to the same people if possible. And then if you did do marketing, you can obviously have a sales funnel where people just buy something at the end of a webinar, or they just purchase your course when they land on the page. It depends on what the pricing is, I guess. And the higher the price point, and if you really didn't want to do any calls, any phone calls, you would have to really have great copy on that page. So these are all considerations around the tech setup as to how you're going to do that. And if you did go through the calls, you said, okay, if they will come and watch a webinar like today, I'll say, I'll end and say, hey, if you want to have a call with me, I have obviously different price points and different courses that you might want to consider. Then I will get on a call and see and assess, where is this person and where does this person best fit in terms of where they are in a business, what they want out of perhaps working with me, and how I can best serve them and not just shoehorn them into the highest price or the lowest price or whatever it is. It's actually assessing and doing a bit of an audit. So that's great when you have different options for them to go next, because it could be that one-to-one isn't right for them. They may not have the budget, and you can say, actually, I've got this course that you can go and do, or continue come to my free you know. Um, Gail, yeah, that's fine. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling well. I think she's already left. Okay, it was always a catch up. There's a replay as well. So yeah, I think if anyone else wants to be on a little hot seat like this and it is useful, then feel free, put your hand up. There is a function uh somewhere. It's a heart reaction, and or just pop it in the chat for me, and then we'll do another little bit of a my unmute. I'm just gonna move a little bit forward, and then we'll do another kind of little um hot seat session. So what I was thinking here was like obviously my reflection, and I think a lot of your reflection is here, right? how I'm going to balance all of this, how I'm going to put these plans in place, and most importantly, how I'm going to put this in place so that I can use it over and over again. And I think this is where the notion of evergreen comes from, and my passion about evergreen sales and evergreen formulas, because I believe quite firmly that we can work on a plan that we can then use over and over. And that plan would have assets in there. That plan would have the way we launch, the way we are visible every single day. So there's actually six components, which I would like to show you. But overview, the three things that this repeatable system needs to have. Number one, we need to be very clear. And I think, Lucien, we just explored a little bit about questions you might want to ask yourself to gain that clarity around what you really want to be focusing on. And maybe we even need to attach it to financial gains as well. If there is a thing around, okay, how much time, how much impact would that have in terms of my financial targets, and how much impact can I create to my clients as well? Because the higher tiers, you actually have more touch points, and that actually means that you have to put in more time and energy. And lower tiers, maybe, yeah, I have a course that I'm just recording and it's just available and I don't need to be involved. And maybe I can then sell that in the hundreds if I do it right. Maybe you need to think about how do you put that out there once it's done. And then there's a question, how do I create the course without having to spend hours video recording myself? The trick is create a beta program or something like this where you can actually teach the course already in front of an audience. So there's a whole system around doing this in a way that makes sense. And you're not actually spending too much time and energy just trying to create something which may then not be exactly the right thing or may have things missing. So another little consideration there. Then consistency. We need to be consistent. When we're not showing up, we're not consistent. When we're not posting, people are not seeing our stuff. And yet, do we really want to live on social media 24/7? Let me know if it's a yes for you. Let me know yes in the chat box. So no, then for me it's a big no. I'd rather show up like I do today, have a session, I train up people, and I like to do that kind of work. And I'm sure you guys are all in the transformational space. So how can we be consistent without having to reinvent the wheel over and over again and sit there for hours every week recreating stuff? So that's the next consideration. And that's why this evergreen ecosystem is so great. And then it's simplicity. Removing complexity, we don't need hundreds of offers and pages. Like I had that last year, I deleted 80 sales pages. I used to use a tool called Kartra. And over time, in my probably whatever how many years I was using the system, I created 80 sales pages, and that was yeah, different offers and different programs and challenges that I ran and workshops, and I just deleted all of it. So simply, I upgraded what I did and how I was running my business, and I then combined my best stuff into the one or two programs that I'm actually running right now. And I just felt that served me better and it serves my clients much better. And the other consideration, if you have 80 different pages, how are you going to market that? You're confusing yourself and your clients. And then attached to all these pages were gazillions of emails and, you know, other pages. And I was just, you know what? I felt so much more relieved deleting all that. And I just started really with a much more solid foundation thereafter. Um, so sometimes it's better to simplify and obviously automate repetitive tasks like email follow-ups. I'm always thinking when I'm writing a really nice email, how can I make sure anyone who signs up on my email list like tomorrow and didn't receive today's email, could they receive it in future? Could I put in an autoresponder like those really nicely performing emails? Can I collect them or ideas that I get from other people? How can I harness some of those and create my own material with a sort of similar concepts or just stuff that really resonates. We might want to collect these ideas, right? How do we do that? And then, yeah, I think the exercise for you really is question is where do you struggle? Is it clarity, consistency, or simplicity? Or again, is it a mixture of those things? And if you want to unmute and ask something or contribute to this exercise, you can do this now. If you want to put it in the chat, that's fine as well. If anyone wants to come forward on unmute, we can do this and have a little conversation at this stage. Because if not, I'm going to actually to show you this ecosystem. Because you might say, well, how do I put this in place? And this is where my 6-pillar system comes in place. Simplicity, yeah, I think that's a good one. So let me show you, and hopefully this will give you a bit of simplicity as well. Because what I did in true process and project management manner, which was my bread and butter, I one day was so fed up, and there was a time when I deleted all my sales funnels. When I took basically some post-it notes and I wrote down what are things that I am actually doing in my business right now, and what are the things I think I should be doing and I'm not doing right now. That's an interesting question. And then I started to reorder things and the stuff, and then the last category was like, what are things I'm doing right now which I shouldn't be doing? So those were the red cards in the end. I'm like, okay, could I eliminate this? Those red cards? Could I auto do I so first question was, do I need them? Do I need these things in my business? Like I love in like podcasting and things like that. Once upon a time I even had a magazine. I actually eliminated doing a magazine because it was just not contributing to my bottom line. It was fun to do because I went to interview a lot of different entrepreneurs, but ultimately it wasn't really my core kind of thing. It wasn't really making me money, and I just decided that's on the red card for now, right? You may have stuff that's kind of passion things that we want to continue doing, but we got to be obviously quite diligent around taking on additional things may just contribute to the overwhelm and the complexity in our business. So think about, could you take post-it notes around these things and then clarify what are the things that you're not doing, you should be doing. There may be a bit of a pain. Again, those things that you should be doing, are there things you could be outsourcing or automating as well? Because you could ask that question there as well. And I finally came up with these 6 pillars, the things that I think are the main foundational pillars that every business owner needs to have in place and needs to have clarified in their business. So and those are the 6 pillars I'm going to share with you. Okay, so that came out of my exercise, and it's kind of like this ecosystem. I feel because if it's evergreen, it just runs again and again, and I think as we evolve as human beings, we always want to improve on things. We never want to become stagnant and just leave things as they are in business, right? We always want to optimize and maybe review things and how can we up level and things like that. That's why it's a little circle. Okay. So it's actually, I know there's 4 steps, but within that are the 6 pillars. Because the first 2 pillars are actually grouped into evergreen business model and evergreen offers. Okay, so the first pillar is evergreen business model. This is exactly the conversation I had with Lucienne just now about group versus or one-to-one versus group versus then going into memberships. And then when you're doing group, could we have enrollments over and over again, or do we have to wait until that group opens? Then probably it becomes a bit less evergreen, and then we have to have launches around this, which can be very, very tiring. Because then I'm also talking about evergreen launching, which is over here, evergreen webinars, evergreen challenges, some sort of evergreen channel that just runs in the background. So that's another consideration. So your model and then your offers need to match your business model as well. And then we've got the evergreen visibility strategy. So this is like, how do you continuously promote yourself on an ongoing basis without having to live on social media 24/7 and having to recreate assets over and over again. So an idea is you could run a series of webinars. Maybe you want to start with three, or if you want to run a challenge, you could even automate these things. You can record it and then it can run on autopilot as well. But then you just utilize those assets over and over again, and you can create um, other assets from those workshops. Like, for example, today's workshop, I'm recording this. My assistant will take this, will transcribe what I was talking about, and then upload it to a tool like ChatGPT. ChatGPT will understand who I am, and as like a person, who how am I talking, the mistakes, the grammar mistakes I'm making, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and it will understand my mission in terms of who do I want to help, and also some of my content pillars. That now I can create things like a newsletter. If you are on LinkedIn and you are looking to build an audience on LinkedIn, you could use that piece as a newsletter. You could also, if you're a blogger, you could use it as a blog post, and then you can dissect this text into smaller posts for social media or emails, follow up emails to your email list. You could even then create a smaller, like my workbook today could become a freebie. I could create an opt-in page and I can put that out there and say, who wants my blueprint? See, this is how we can all sort of organize ourselves in an evergreen way without having to overwhelm ourselves. And we can now be very creative and automate some of these things to get some other assets. Is this a bit of a light bulb moment? Let me know. Put in light bulb if hopefully, because I was struggling for the longest time, and now as our AI is coming out, it's so much easier. Now, can we be on all platforms? Maybe we can't. So we might want to choose which platforms are we really going to be on, and which ones do we want to master. And so I'm a little bit everywhere because I'm using now tools to distribute my content as well in a diligent way. Like for example, YouTube. So I think YouTube's going to get really big in 2025. Um, I hear that TikTok's not going to be allowed anymore in the US. I don't know if anyone's heard that rumor. Trump's forbidding it because they think they're spying on the US. So that means that a lot of traffic might move over to YouTube and YouTube Shorts. So what could you do with a session like this recorded? You can use another tool, which I'm using in my business, which is called Opus Clip, which is an AI tool, Opus Clip. You can upload a video. There is a free plan, I think 60 minutes per month. You can get that uploaded and create smaller snippets because it will not only create the YouTube short for you, but it will also put the captions there and a transcript of a particular snippet. So you can create like 60-second snippets. Well, not only can you put that on YouTube, but also on LinkedIn, maybe Instagram as a reel, and Facebook as stories or a whatever reel, whatever they have, right? So now we're talking creating lots of different content pieces from one piece of content. Okay, so that's your evergreen visibility strategy for lead generation. Of course, we need to have a call to action to say, hey, come to my evergreen webinar, challenge, whatever it may be. Like I'm running these weekly sessions. In January, I'm going to run a bigger challenge as well, where we're going over 4 days. So if you're interested in the challenge, do let me know in the chat and I'll make sure I got you on the list for that one. And then we want to have an evergreen enrollment. And nobody really talks about very much what do you do once we have that sales conversation, people are paying you money. What do you do with them next and make sure that you're actually delivering on your promises? how do you do all that stuff? Are there things that we can put in place already that will make it easy, and your clients will get like a quick start kind of toolkit, or how to keep them accountable, how to make sure that they are getting results. So these are all sort of tools that you want to have in your business and thought through already. These are basically um, these are basically the six pillars. I mean, evergreen business model is pillar number one, offers number two, the visibility strategy is number three. I think evergreen webinars and challenges, number five, and then the enrollment is pillar number six. Okay, so where do you think if you look at this ecosystem, um, and I appreciate someone's just joined, so welcome. You may want to catch the replay from the beginning, but we're just talking about the components of an evergreen system. And my question to you is, what are things, where do you see yourself, like where are you really strong? Maybe you give me one strong area and you pop it in the chat, right? Do you have the right business model? Do you think you have great offers and they're fine for 2025 and we're going to stick with that? Or are there perhaps gaps? So give me one thing that you think you may be concerned about, and one thing that you think I've completely nailed it. I'd love to hear, where are you with those things, and if there's anything that's weak and you have a question about that, feel free to let me know in the chat, and you can unmute and we can have a quick brainstorm around that as well. Blanjanica, did you want to share yours? Because I seen your you wanted to ask a question earlier. I don't know if you wanted to unmute and share your thoughts.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. It's always a pleasure um having you in my morning. It's
Ah, I'm so blessed. So blessed
one
to
of
have.
my goals is to get up earlier than normal and start my day with something like this. And I'm really, really excited for my 2025 because I'm I have a very clear vision where I'm going, where I want to be, what I want to deliver to my clients, and I am in my transition from corporate to just living my passion and my dream, and it just makes me very um anxious, but in a happy way because I'm making moves in order to fulfill the to fulfill the message and deliver the correct and in an easier way for them to just understand and I could deliver and I could actually breathe because it's been a nonstop 3 years of working 80 something hours and I'm just building a system that now I could actually have more time in order to prepare for my godson. My godson is where I could finally breathe and just have my life organized and in a term of that I could feel that all this hard work for so many years is actually coming along and it's just being delivered the correct way for everyone to be
Oh,
happy. I
you
deliver
make me so
happiness and
emotional when you say that. Uh,
because I'm delivering happiness and not
mm,
only I'm delivering happiness to others, but I'm delivering it to myself and this is a journey for you, for us and not only for myself but also for you and for all of us and so it does makes me emotional that I'm finally not working harder but smarter and to fulfill my needs and balance because I actually just need it now. I feel that I'm breathing.
mhm. Beautiful.
So
And I think we always need to remember, why did we start our business? Because quite often
oh
we
yeah.
can just lose it. And we think, oh, it's not working, or
Oh yeah.
um, there's so many other coaches out there that might be better than me, and they have all this big budget productions and all that, and we can really get hung up comparing ourselves to others. And I think it is really important that, as I was talking about pillar or the first thing we need to do is the clarity, is also clarifying our why and really strongly connect with that. And then looking at the systems, of course, and then really, I think the systems will really help you staying on top of your game and connect and keep connected with your why, because all the hard work will be done. Have your assets. And then all we need to do is focus on connecting with our potential clients and staying in that lane around delivering and showing up. And you don't have all the other hassles that you have to think about. And I think, nice to see you, by the way. She says she's got great offers, but she needs help with Evergreen enrollment, which I don't know exactly whether you got what I was saying. Evergreen enrollment for me is like once someone has paid, what do you do with them so that they smoothly come into your program? They have access to all the trainings. We've got the accountability. But then maybe it could also be taken as like Evergreen getting people through the door as like to a sales call to to pay and all that, because that piece can be totally automated. And actually, Angelica, that is what you need automated because you want to have a consistent message. Because quite often, if we are swapping and changing and we're doing things all, like differently all the time, and then we get lost, we don't know anymore what's working, what's not working. Yeah, getting people in, that's what you meant. Yeah, exactly. And that is through the Evergreen conversion channel, I think, as in like how do you convert people? How do you get the cold people to bring them into your world? And how do they get to know you, like you, trust you, and then understand, oh, this person is the one that can really help me, right? So that's the customer, the journey that you need to take people through.
I mean, that sounds a great idea. And I mean, in my journey, in the past 3 years, everything has changed really fast. So, I'm in the process of making moves constantly and basically every week. So it creates a space where I could have the opportunity to have all in one space
Yeah,
where I could have all levels of people coming in and I'm still growing and I'm still having everyone come in and continue to grow with me. And that's beautiful.
yeah, absolutely. And this is your audience building piece, and it may look different to everyone. Everyone will be doing different things to do that.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not one size fits all. And this is probably another question. If I go back to the audit, let me just see where that is. It's really so. Thank you, Angelica. We're just going to move on. As I need to finish this off in about 9 minutes. I promise to keep it under one. So beautiful. I'm so glad that you're with us here and on this journey. And it's really about thinking, what is it that I can achieve, right? You've got the vision, you want to build an audience. How do you want to do the audience, right? It could be different things. It could be um, through workshops like this. It could be having a community. Maybe you want to run paid ads, right? You have to think for yourself. And then you want to break this down into quarters and say, well, January to March, what I'm going to do. Well, I know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to actually open my second school community. I've opened one in October, and I've already grown this really well. And I now know what it takes in terms of the school and the platform. For those who don't know, school is SKOOL. It's a really cool platform where you can have community and a classroom. And I actually now going to teach how to set up a school community in the new year. So that's my January to March project. And then, where do you want to be in terms of your audience numbers? Maybe there is something you want to track. Because quite often, if we don't measure, we don't know how whether we are actually progressing and what are the things that aren't working. And then obviously we want to reduce the things that aren't working and do more of the things that are working, right? So we want to only set 1 to 2 priorities per quarter. It goes back to Lucien saying about I don't want to do too many things. Absolutely. How do we best do this? Really think about how I'm going to have fun in my business. What aligns? Like, what are the things that I want to do, how I want to grow. And yes, what's that going to look like in terms of finance? How many people at what price point? You can think about these things as well. What are the offers? Maybe you want to go instead of the three tiers that you may mention, maybe you want to test one tier to start with, see how that resonates. Maybe you are opening this one tier, and then from that one tier, you may want to create, that tier might be like an 8 week boot camp. Right? That's what I'm going to do in January. I'm going to open my first tier in the school group, and I've created I think it's a 9 week boot camp that's going to start in February. Actually implement all the 6 pillars together with a group. I won't call them beta testers, but I guess it's the first program I'm running in this way, and it's going to be sort of half price as well. So everyone's going to get a great deal, and I'd like to get some feedback and add more resources because it's a great way to actually get a new program started, or a new sort of community started where people give you the insights, and they actually get, as we're walking through this program, they get actually more resources and more attention in the beginning. So it's brilliant. A lot of people actually love that approach. And at the same time, it allows you, and it will allow me to do the same, to record the new program structure. And then that can become a digital program thereafter. So those are considerations around priorities and simplification as well. And of course, create monthly milestones. You're a business planner yourself. I don't need to tell you about these milestones and, financial planning and all that kind of stuff. So, what does it look like? How many programs will I need to sell? How I'm going to sell these programs? If you are doing calls, then obviously maybe, oops, thing on my screen. No? Okay. Maybe it's your goal to do 10K months. So more milestone could be booking 5 calls per week, because maybe if your program's 2K, you might want to sell 5 of these programs, right? And you might not need 5 calls to sell 1 or 2 programs a week, right? Because your conversion might be higher. But these are all the considerations, the tracking you might want to do and understand those dynamics in your business. So there's an exercise for your homework. Write down your priorities for Q1, as we just discussed, and then perhaps think about the milestones as well that surround those priorities. And then have a little bit of a reflection. What's the one thing you're struggling with when it comes to planning or building a system? Maybe you want to use the example I was telling you about, using the post-it notes, jot down your ideas. You can think about the things that you're doing in your business already that are working, things that are not working, things you should be doing. And then you want to create maybe a timeline. Okay, January to March. This is what I'm going to be focusing on. April to June, and so on, right? This way, you're going to reduce the overwhelm. You're going to create the clarity, and you are keeping things simple. So hopefully this was a great session for you to give you the fuel and ideas for 2025. Of course, you'll have the workbook. I'm going to just pop it again into the chat. And if you do feel you want to connect with me or find out a little bit more about what I'm doing next year with this boot camp, I'd love to invite you. Perhaps consider going on this journey with me. It's going to be an 8 week program where I will help you these 6 pillars into your business. It's going to be tailored. You'll have a lot of access to me as well. I haven't quite finished the sales page. I haven't really thought about exactly about pricing. All I know is going to be 50% off. It's going to be really, really affordable. You can join the school group as well, where we have an amazing kind of classroom and a community as well. So if you're interested, do let me know. Or you can also book a call. I think my assistant's got a book a call link somewhere. She can just post here in the chat. And I think it's also connected to this to the worksheet. So yeah, if you feel like you want to just have a conversation and see what there is, and whether there is something that's appropriate for you in terms of moving forward, then I'd be very happy to have the conversation with you. And we can have another conversation around what is your how what's going on in your business right now, because I'm the least sort of salesy person. I don't like to hop on calls and like, yeah, buy this, buy this. I want to find out a little bit more about your business, see where you're at, how you want to move forward, and if there's something that we can work on together, then we can have a conversation around it. Okay. Hopefully there's still room in my diary before Christmas. I am gonna finish off sort of on Friday-ish and then do a bit of maintenance behind the scenes, and then I'm gonna be off um for skiing in the new year back home in Austria. So there may be a little gap in my diary. So you let me know if you wanna get in, hop on and we have a conversation before Christmas. Um and then so we can sort of start off on the sort of accelerated pa path in January, then we can arrange that. Are there any last questions about anything that we mentioned today? Great meeting you as well, Lucien. Enjoy the time in London. Enjoy your Christmas. Are you going to stay over Christmas in London?
Yes, I'll be here until the mid January. So
Oh, nice. Well, then go and
yeah.
see all the Christmas lights around Green Park,
Oh, okay.
Carnaby Street. I'll be there on Sunday. It's a nice place, really, really posh. What's it called? There's a place, Green Park Station. You got to go around those areas. There's some really posh places where people go shopping with Ferraris, and that whole road there. It's like all like diamondy kind of lights and things like that. It's just incredible.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just popped the link in. If you want to book a call, we can have a conversation about your business, options to perhaps work together. I can do a little audit with you as well, give you some insights around the six pillars, how that might fit in with your journey and otherwise. We're at the hour, very happy. We got this done in 60 minutes. Um, Eno, do you have the link as well for the workbook? If not, I'll just pop it in here and then you can make sure you fill that in and have a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll see you soon.